Employee relations should be about how you feel about the organization day in and day out. Do you trust them? Do you feel that they will treat you with dignity and respect? Do you think they'll be fair to you? Right? Is it transparent, or do you think it's a gotcha moment? Right? Like that relationship dynamic is a game changer for folks. Okay? So I want to also highlight the following. I want to go back one. And I want to highlight the fact that in workplace change, we do culture assessments. And one of the questions we always ask is, and you can steal this question. It's a great question to ask. If your employer were a friend, how would you describe them? People get so creative. Oh, I love it so much, right? Because when you talk about culture, it can feel really nebulous, right? Like smoke, like you can't really put your finger on it. But when you make it into a real relationship that you have with an individual, right? Like you make the corporation, the company, an individual, and how do you feel about that individual? It changes things. They see things very differently. So folks, one of the top 10 responses that I've read was my employer's like, the friend who invites you over to their house for lunch, and when you get there, they have a 7,000 piece IKEA set that needs to be put together, and they expect you to put it together, and they're gonna talk to you about it and make sure you're having a good time, but they're not gonna contribute at all. And I'm like, I can see it, right? I can see it. They're friendly, right? They bait you, but they're really gonna put you to work, and you didn't even know that this was gonna be on your plate today, but it's your expectation, right? Like that's what employee relations is about. How do you feel on a Thursday when you walk into the job? This is not a five-alarm fire every single day. It cannot be. It's not sustainable. It should not be, all right? So the first thing that we want you to think about is building and sustaining a healthy work environment, right? Like building and sustaining a healthy work environment. And by the way, the employee relations is not just HR's job. I would actually say HR, think about it like a basketball team, right? HR is more like the coach or the owner, not the folks who are dribbling the ball on the court. Because when I ask you to describe how your relationship, how would you describe the company relationship you have? The things that come into your mind are usually not human resources or finance or even the CEO. It's usually your direct supervisor, your manager, the person who is in your face every day, giving you assignments, following up, being fair, giving you time, not giving you time, etc. So building and sustaining a healthy work environment starts with you helping people understand their contributions to building and then sustaining the healthy work environment. That can come through training, that can come through coaching, that can come through onboarding, that can come through a lot of different modalities. I'd like to ask leadership teams, what's your leadership philosophy? What is your leadership philosophy? How do you, as an aggregate, as a collective, lead your workforce? Tell me, what's the approach? You're like, what do you mean? Well, you need one, or else you get easy graders and hard graders. You get people who are like, oh, don't worry about it. And other people are like, no, the rule, the policy, right? You get folks who will spend time with you and other folks who are like, I don't have time to spend with you. I've got to get these deliverables out the door. That's the number one priority. How do we manage our workforce as a collective, not a bunch of individuals who come together once a week or every 2 weeks?